We are live, Kama Queen Kara. You look lifted as all get out. How lifted
I
are you?
edibles.
You have no eyes.
I
Where'd they
have
go?
eyes. I see things with my
Oh,
eyes.
okay, if you can see, then you do have eyes.
They're just empty.
Hmm,
Your cup says
empty
dad.
eyes. Empty eyes. I gotta figure out how to change this thing about sending stars. What's
Hey
up, Jeffrey
Jeffrey.
Gamble? How are you, man? This stupid star thing, it should say, like, to show your support, you should invite others, right? Fucking
Right.
stop. Don't give your money to fucking Facebook for these stupid ass little stars. I don't need to make money through Facebook for stars, and you guys spending your hard earned money. Stupid. It's just stupid. Cops took his weed. And what's up, Andrea? How are you? We're getting ready to put the video on. Oh man, that is. But we're talking. We're dealing with some Jeffrey Gamble stuff. The cops took his weed. Oh my gosh, man. What fucking state are you in? Where cops are acting like that? We need to know. Oh, we got Eric that popped in on the bottom. What's up, Eric? You can hear us, but we can't hear you yet down there. We'll be pulling you up. If you guys didn't know, we do have an amazing guest today, Eric Boone with Seattle Hempfest, and they are now global. If you don't know who Seattle Hempfest is, I want to know, have you been living under a rock? Because they're a pretty big deal. They do really big shows. The largest in the world is what the internet says when it comes to cannabis base. So it takes a little bit to do that. I can tell you that much. We'll be getting in conversations at Seattle Hemp Fest, what they've been doing, what their plans are, what they've been up to, about how's it feel to be international, and how they see the planet with the plant and with these changes in times. We actually got a few things to talk on, but I'm going to go ahead and throw a quick video up because we always start with one. So you guys go ahead and make sure that you do have permissions to StreamYard to see who you are, so we can see who you are through the comments. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm smoking some Jack Hare, which is the strain for honeycomb hydro, Jack Terror. You're going to see the logo on it. If you pronounced it Jack Herrera, it's okay. I did too, and we were wrong. And it's pronounced hair like terror, so hence Jack Terror. And that's one of honeycomb hydro genetics and tied into hero packs and all that good stuff. But if you don't know about those either, it's all right. We're going to be around for a long while. We ain't going anywhere with it other than like forward and then to the moon. So, but here's the video. Thanking some of our sponsors. You'll see them in. We have new sponsors on, new sponsor boards being made. Awesome videos that will get to entertain you and educate you of where to go to check these sponsors out and the fun things that come with marketing and advertising, right? And social media promotion, and being an influencer. Kara, you're an influencer. What do you think about that word before I play this video? All right, we're going to go to the video. I'm not setting myself up for failure. You guys, this is Louie with some Jack Terror. The song is Foreigner's World. Fuck, I can't remember it. I can't believe I remember all that. So thank you guys all for joining here and enjoy the video. When we come back, we'll be blowing down to 710. You got your dabs ready, Kara?
Yes.
Well, you will while the video. And
Yes.
then we'll be doing some 420 smoking and talking to Eric with Hempfest. And yeah, it's going to be a really good show. Really good show. Love you guys. Here you go. So this is a Jack Terror looking for my version genetics. Lineage is Jack Hare, that I used to call Jack Herrera, but that's wrong.
Yo, bro, it's gonna be lit, man. I got mad girls outside. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to figure this. I'm trying to finish this project.
Nah, bro. Stop that, bro. You've been working all day long. Sometimes you need to take a break to get the inspiration to finish what you gotta finish.
I really do have to finish this.
Bro, you don't need to finish that, bro. Put this pencil down. Take this paper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I need you to be out. You know what I mean?
Fuck it.
Bro, for you, man. You deserve it.
Alright, yeah,
Let's be out, man.
That's right. Yeah. Man, when I get up here, I feel alive. Yeah. Know that, gotta keep that head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness and cheddar. Believe me, I do not know better. 24 years old, I'm writing this letter for the people who are struggling, man, just keep your head up. It's gonna get better, just don't give up. Remember that I'm with you, there's no I, it's just us. Party till tomorrow is a must. I will bring the shorties, just bring liquors, no discussion. I do this with some love and then some passion. I never hold grudges, I move past it. I lasted this long, I gotta grasp it. Know that, gotta keep that head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness and cheddar. Believe me, I do not know better. Know that, gotta keep that head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness and cheddar. Believe me, I do not know better. But I do this with my soul and with my mind. I'm just trying to figure this shit, am I right? I feel like I got it, sometimes I'm feeling blind. But I'm positive, always one of a kind, yeah. I'm on the grind, and I see the signs. I'm all about mine, don't stay behind, I'm gonna get signed. Because I'm defined, always being kind. I'll pray out of love, and homie you'll shine. I keep to myself, like a book in the shelf. If you do not know me, so just keep to yourself. And I'm about to go, and I'm about to roll. And I am like, whoa, you know I just flow, stay high, never low. And I'm about to celebrate, I'ma honor my soul. If 400 was since 4 years old, always chasing gold. Not talking about money, talking about my soul. While some people sleep, I'm in my zone. Know that, gotta keep the head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness and cheddar. Believe me, I do not know better. Know that, gotta keep that head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness and cheddar. Believe me, I do not know better. 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 And if I let her, she might come. And she gets wet and he rain come. I'm in tech, I don't need no. I cannot stop, so I just go. Know that, gotta keep that head up. We young, so we fucking shed up. Chasing happiness.
adding people, and then add. Carrot 710. Eric, welcome, sir. And welcome all you guys, listeners, watchers, viewers. We do have a giveaway, hashtag Seattle Hempfest going on. Once we hit 25 people, they were going to run the giveaway throughout the entire show. So go ahead and get in now, and the giveaway tool will take care of it for you. And we'll be giving away some seeds. So depending on the winner, it'll come in a couple different forms. If they have a crypto wallet, that would be the most ideal. So we'll see how that turns out in the end. Go ahead and invite people in, get them here. So we're here with Eric Boone, Seattle Hempfest, and you are watching MK Potcast. I'm your host, Michael Kamp. Over to that way. Yes, I nailed it. Is Canna Queen Kara. She can't see me pointing at her, and that's all right. There we go. So Canna Queen, welcome. Eric, welcome. Before we get to you, Eric, Canna Queen, do you have your dabs for 710 somewhere? Because we're a minute
I
behind.
do, but I have the hiccups right now, so I need to take care of that first.
Well, you take care of the hiccups. We're going to roll Eric right in here, get him to introduce himself. Eric, if you can, please let us know who you are, what you represent, and initially, when did cannabis come into your life? That's my initial question after the introduction. The floor is all yours, my friend.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Am I live?
I couldn't hear Eric much.
Yeah, he's
he
not
is
connected now.
Yeah, he's disconnected in the dashboard here in StreamYard. So he is out in he's graced us at 2:00 his time, guys. Oh, here he is back. Let's pull him up and see if his mic's working better. But yeah, it is 2:00 in Portugal right now. So Eric, we'll try again. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Just messing with my. Let me switch over to. Is that better?
Oh, 3,000% better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you. Okay.
We'll get it, guys. Don't worry.
Hey, do you have me? Sorry, I literally don't have these. Oh, that's a good one, but now I can't hear you again. All right. So let me just do an intro as long as I've got some audio here. Yeah, pardon me for giving my little baritone voice. Everyone's asleep here. I am in Lisbon, Portugal, as you said. My name's Eric Boone, and I am on the board of directors for Seattle Hempfest, which was sort of spooled up in 1991 by a group of miscreants known as the Peace Heathens in Seattle, Washington. And this was prior to the whole legalization movement. I mean, 91, that predates, California's medical in 96 even. So really one of the original voices in, the fight against prohibition of the cannabis plant and all of its myriad benefits. But over the years, and we were in the park every year since 1991, 30 years, until the pandemic hit. And that sort of has put a bit of a road bump in our progress, but we're hoping to be back in the Seattle park this year. But it also sort of forced us to, after 30 years, kind of take an account of where we gotten. I mean, one of the three main pillars that we really sort of operated on is, get out the vote, no prisoners for pot, and understanding the whole plant. So there was, you always had a ton of vendors at Seattle Hempfest. In our heyday, we gathered 250,000 people down at the Seattle waterfront across 3 parks. Sorry, Michael, I can't hear for some reason. So let me try to address that for right now. But so for 30 years, we saw the inception of medical in California, up through Washington, right along Colorado being the first to allow adult use, to allow recreational use. So Seattle Hempfest has always considered itself, and over the years we've had, politicians, actors, influencers, famous music acts like just grace our stage. Jack Harrer, as you mentioned, he was always every year Jack was alive. He was at Seattle Hempfest, yeah. So, we've got some great times over the years. Our 2010 poster was dedicated to Jack. So, yeah, we've really been at the forefront of the conversation for more than 3 decades. And unfortunately, the pandemic did hit us pretty hard. Like it's essentially just a huge party that we throw every year. It's a nonprofit organization, so there's not a whole lot left in the kitty. It's all volunteer driven, real labor of love. And so when the pandemic hit and our revenue stream just dried up immediately, we had to sort of dig down deep and figure out like what can we do to be more sustainable in the new reality that we live in, which is things have just gotten kind of weird. But yeah, so we have opted. One of the decisions that we took is to try to. We've been sort of successful in licensing our brand in different states across the region. Like there's a Hempfest in Oregon, one in Alaska. There's one in Boise. So we've got those are licensed events. There was one down in Florida for a while. Hopefully one in Missouri here very soon. But we're sort of spreading that model out to a global audience, and that's one of the things that brought me here to Portugal is sort of propagating this brand on a global level. And we even had our first international Hempfest show in the Azores archipelago here. In the middle of the Atlantic a few weeks ago. It wasn't the biggest attended one, certainly not like our Seattle events, but at least we got our flag posted. So we're off to the races on international. So that's kind of where Hempfest has been and where we're going. The gateways of prohibition are going to start collapsing rapidly in Europe. Germany is committed to it. Spain's going to be pretty close behind. Czech Republic, incredibly progressive. So you're going to see legalization spread just as quickly in Europe as Germany's looking at first quarter 24. Figure Czech Republic sort of wants to beat them to the punch. It'll be interesting to see how the race to end prohibition progresses in Europe. So that's a little bit with me. 420 sneaking up, so I'll pass the mic.
Can you hear me now, or can you still not hear me?
See.
No, I still can't hear me. Canna Queen, can you hear me? I believe everybody else can hear. We had. Are you able to hear me now, Eric?
Can you hear me, Eric?
No, I don't think you can. Could you hear us when you were like super quiet? Because when the mic was the first mic that you had, we couldn't hear you. But
Now we can't hear him.
So if you can hear us, can you hear us? All right. So whatever you did to hear us, this is going to be tricky. Like maybe I'll do in the private chat. I'll type the question ahead of time before I ask it. All right, and then you can have the private chat question, and then you can come in and do the answer. Because
Hey, Mike,
yeah,
I'm gonna drop off. I don't feel too good right now.
you look wasted.
I'm just. I think I ate too much sugar.
Well, you made it, Kara. Guess what time it is?
It's 4:20.
It's 4:20. Light them if you got them, guys.
Yeah, happy 4:20, Eric. Happy 4:20, Mike. I'm gonna go to bed.
Nap.
Yeah. I'm going to bed.
I'll see you in the morning, Canna Queen. Well, this will be tricky. So it's me and you, Eric. We have technical difficulties of you can only listen while I talk, and you can't hear me while you can talk. So this is going to be fun. Initially, of what you're coming through and talking on, it's amazing to be able to, like, if individuals were wondering how did a little guy like me ended up getting connected with somebody like Eric and Hempfest, right? And the answer to that is Web3 and social media predominantly, but in the aspirations and understanding of the future, and that being Web3 crypto and what decentralizations of blockchain can actually produce. And then when you were talking, Eric, like I didn't even think about it because I'm here in Missouri. I know we had School of Crop here. You mentioned a couple states. With a head nod, have you done a Hempfest event here in Missouri? Would you like to do a Hempfest here in Missouri? Sweet. And you know, and then you got that might have something to do with you getting involved with Mocana Cup, huh? Interesting. So School of Crop, you ask, how can I help? I already got your contact information. Volunteers are a must when it comes through of anything like you heard Eric talking on the stuff that they've done. The level of it is that it is the community putting in, and stepping up and providing the help. So you asked, I've got your number, man. I'll be getting back with you. Doug Zawicki says Southwest Missouri. Doug, man, you got it right. Everything's happening in freaking St. Louis or Kansas City. He's got his fingers crossed, Eric, that it's down here. We're definitely going to have something down here, Doug, because we're also working with Missouri Normal on reestablishing the Southwest Missouri Normal chapter, all in the mix of this. So, yeah, if individuals that support Normal like to get down with the the business side of things and the financials on the internal, people who want to be on the board, please, Normal's looking for those individuals. We're looking to reestablish, like I said, the Southwest Missouri Normal chapter. It was in Springfield, looking to be that is an ideal place for it to happen again. But yeah, and it's for that case right there. Nothing's happening in the south of Missouri. I do know individuals from Oklahoma are tired of driving every other weekend, if not every weekend, all the way to Kansas City and St. Louis, and would be happy to go ahead and just do half a trip and come to Southwest Missouri. So you guys, that's the goal here of the collaboration between the possibilities and capabilities of Web3 and cannabis, but then it's also with the change in times. Amendment 3 being passed. We had Dan Beats here Wednesday to talk about Amendment 3, what we can look forward to, the changes within, the interpretation of those changes, and all that fun stuff. So, absolutely get involved where you can. And then Crop, I'll be hitting you up as well. And then Eric, like I said, when it came through, I've been focused on Missouri and the changes here. I got to relight this. I was talking with Dan and a couple people like in Ohio. So Ohio, it didn't pass, right? But he's the individual I was talking with was like, well, there's two things going down, and regardless of which one ever happens, rec cannabis is going to, a recreational regulation, or if you want to call it legalization, however the terminology you want to call it, right? That will be happening in Ohio next year with the presidential election, is where he was 100% sure. And then Dan Viets said, yeah, that's highly most probable because of whatever he knows as well, right? And then the next day, Kara, she got an email from Normal, and Indiana is going through to have it at the end of next year as well. And it looks like they're going to be jumping straight, just like Virginia did, with medical and rec and 6-plant homegrown in fucking Indiana. So it makes sense, because with Ohio going, they're going to be completely surrounded by, landlocked by cannabis legal states. So it makes sense to shift and get in, so you lose all those profits going to the other states. like they already have been missing out. But you talked on something. What's the magnitude of the countries? See, I never thought of that, right? You're out there in Portugal, you're taking Hempfest global, right? I know of countries like the Philippines that's killing people for hemp seed, right? So there's levels of a difference. There's no continuity of how people should react of what, we now got the science and we're getting some, great things, but how difficult is it? And then how accepted is it? That'd be my two-part question. How difficult has it been spreading the word of cannabis? Because from my perspective as like a breeder, I got a lot of my seeds and stuff from Amsterdam, right? So that Amsterdam concept, being an ignorant human being, I take that mentality, throw it all to Europe, right? All of this area is like that, even though, I can reflect on the States, and pretty much as I see it, how the States are no continuity, that's how the countries are as well. And then, yeah, what's the difficulty level of expanding the knowledge of the plant? And then, like, what do you see? I know you mentioned a couple countries. What do you see here for these countries of this change, if you will? You're muted. I'll unmute you. You have to unmute you. We'll get it. You guys, we're working with Eric unable to talk while he can hear me.
How's that?
Can you hear me though?
Oh my gosh, and I can hear you.
Oh all shit, right. We fixed it. Amazing. Cannabis, guys. This is what did it, Eric.
There you go.
But yeah, so how difficult's it been? And then as a global wise, like you're talking countries and certain things, how do you see the changes coming?
Yeah, it's that's one of the reasons that we're over here right now, is because the change is coming. And one of the nice things about Europe is that they, especially in Portugal, it's kind of a contradiction, because 20 years ago, Portugal decriminalized all drugs. They had a really bad opioid problem, particularly here. And there was no way they could and heroin was in there as well. And in order to combat this, they had this incredibly revolutionary thought process of let's treat addiction as an illness instead of a crime. And so that's what they ended up doing is just decriminalizing everything across the board. And so at that point, if you got caught with small amounts of it, it was no longer a priority for the police. If you were caught with it, at their discretion, they could put you into some treatment program or something like that. But that's really few and far between. So they've been, sort of this not really spoken about experiment in the Iberian Peninsula, because it's been remarkably successful in squelching their really big addiction problem.
Gotcha. So they're actually using cannabis as the exit strategy that it should be used for.
Well, that's what you'd think, but unfortunately, as a result of this across the board decriminalization, cannabis has sort of been, lumped in with all drugs. So there's actually this sort of unspoken social stigma around cannabis use, because that's where the sort of silent success of this whole social movement has come from. Is although everything's been decriminalized, there's sort of this social stigma that they use as enforcement. So there's and cannabis, sadly, it seems, has largely gotten caught up in this. So right now they've got a medical program for cannabis use, but you would be very hard pressed to actually find a doctor that would prescribe cannabis for medical use. I'm sure there's some out there, but there have been anecdotal stories of people saying, like, literally just going in and listing off all of the things and saying, hey, do you think I could try some cannabis? And it's just like, oh, no, you don't want to try that poison.
So you're still at the mercy of the doctor.
Yeah, but then, like, there's Spain is right next door to Portugal, and they've got some fantastic growing right now. There's some amazing growing in Portugal as well. They share a latitude with Emerald Triangle in California. So the growing conditions here are just amazing. It's a very wine-driven culture. So there's
Well, and I think that's what the future in cannabis is, especially when it comes into state by state and all that, is that terroir aspect, just like wine is. So,
yeah. And it's interesting. I actually have given a couple talks at conventions, cannabis conventions over here, and that was the message that. And I'm sort of trying to come from a standpoint of, we've made some mistakes in because I've been. You asked like how long I've been in cannabis. That's almost biblical in timeline. Like that goes back a long ways, but
yeah, I mean, I was 12 when I first tried it, and then I want to say by 14 it was a ritualistic involvement with the plant.
yeah, it really caught me probably around 19, like when I was in college. But I tried it first around 12 as well, and I've been in the industry like since 2009. So that's kind of my claim to fame is I sort of cut my teeth running an early publicly traded company in the early days, 2009, that revolved. It was based out of Arizona, and we helped usher in their medical program there. So
All right,
I've
sweet.
seen a few states go. Worked at the legislative level, state and federally. So I've made enough mistakes that I think that I can be of some benefit over here in Europe to sort of say, like, look, these are some of the things that we've done that worked somewhat well, and I think might translate over here. These are some things that are disastrous. And then my main company is predictive and prescriptive analytics for cannabis enterprises, and one of our big products is it's a modified price elasticity model that helps governments dial in their tax rates. So you don't have these like crazy stupid. I don't know if you saw that. It was like in August. It was on the cover of Forbes. Burner was on the cover of Forbes magazine, and it was that. It was that whole thing about the cannabis industry, and like it had a panel of experts on like what happened, like where was the missed opportunity, and they're like over taxation, over regulation, and that's really been acute in like I don't know, like a lot of states still lean into the punch as they legalize, as they have these greedy tax rates, and the unregulated markets just stay really healthy. I mean, look at Canada. Canada legalized federally in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people will still go to so you could just go to the government website and order weed, but what you get is of questionable quality, and
Very
if you go,
questionable representation of what you would even call cannabis.
yeah,
There is some good. Like I've got a lot of through Canna Camp and my Facebook groups. I want to say probably good for 35, 40%, at least engagement wise, is Canadians. Right. So I speak with a lot of Canadians through COVID, through the Facebook groups and stuff. A heavy involvement because they're like Quebec's shut down and they had a lot more restrictions than what we did here in the United States. But it just, some of them, of the ones, because of the home grow aspect, then they do have good shit. But it's kind of like, I think in any dispensary here, I can still remember the 2 or 3 really good flower that I got from a dispensary. You know what I mean? And that's trying hundreds. I haven't been at every dispensary. I haven't done, but any of that. It's all like fucking right here. Crop says it. Dried out boof. Couldn't have said it better, right? And it's just that's what excites me on like Missouri with its home grow. If Indiana's able to get home grow, Illinois has got 5 plants, but at least it has home grow. Same thing for Virginia having 4 plants. At least there's home grow, because there's some that's not, like even with Arkansas, they had their legislation and it didn't pass, but I'm glad it didn't pass. It didn't have home grow. So right, like, so there's just levels of the stigmatized restrictions within it because of the caliber of the people involved making an impact enough to be on Forbes cover, right? Because there's that many zeros around it. And it sucks on when that grade level deludes the purpose of what the plant can do and the magnitude of the impact that can be made, and all because I got to get that extra fucking buck, right? I don't know. It's an uphill battle, but at least it is progressively changing. And if you look at, what the past 30 years has been, in the past fucking 4 years, since the last election, the change is so significant. It's insane, right? But then it's on levels where this change happens. But I was just watching a post here on Facebook, which we're streaming to Facebook, right? And people, because they say, hey, I got pollen, getting fucking shadow banned, not restricted from commenting, but not being able to be, and it's all the voices of access to the changes. It just gets pushed down and blocked out and censored, right? Even while this legal change is happening, right? And then what was fun, where I got tickled on it. The verbiage of it was wrong, right? They're talking of, we're going to do something, but they mentioned getting into Web3 and how that censorship can't happen with blockchain. And it was awesome, right? Because it shows there is a spark of change, but it was 1 out of 200 comments, right? And only 4 people liked it. It's because that understanding for most people aren't there. What are your thoughts on this global change, this, the fighting the stigma for the plant, by educating the masses of the capabilities, right? From what you've been doing with the Hempfest itself, and the events, and what it gives back to the level of, the plant that it gives back, right? You've been able to do a lot of things because it's up with hemp and with the farm bill and lack of THC, right? You've got more area to maneuver, right, in the industry. So it allows to build at least case studies of what could work and not work for THC, right? But now when it comes in with the capability of blockchain and metaverse and that type of outreach, right? How do you see cannabis in say in a year, 2 years? What do you see on the future of cannabis and the impact that can be made with it?
Yeah, like you're really the idea mill when it comes to merging those two realities. Now, Hempfest has kind of has sort of started dipping our toe into the Web3 space. I mean, in the course of having these, and I mean, you mentioned earlier, like the real purpose of a lot of these Web3 projects is at its fundamental roots. It's about community and building that community. Even like the Bored Apes, like that's just buying yourself inclusion into this ape community, and the big difference between us and even like some of your Bored Apes and stuff like that is, we bring an authentic community to Web3. Like that, if there's one thing that Web3 really digs right now, it's weed. I mean, it's just a ubiquitous presence in all Web3 space. Go to NFT NYC, like a lot of the NFT projects out there are really cannabis driven, or you have traits that definitely reflect
Exactly.
cannabis
I was just
culture.
gonna- yeah, a lot of the characters or whatever, there is a joint trait or a bong trait or
Exactly.
a weed bandana or some other little thing. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Now I don't know. Let's see. I hate the StreamYard here because the logo above your head. Because it's fun. You mentioned the Bored Apes, and that we actually from Ocana Cup we have the first Bored Ape that's on a cannabis edible ever.
nice.
And their flavor, they're partnered with Cocoa Nugs and Runts, and their flavor is Bored Banana Split. And yeah, it's unbelievable what you can meet on Twitter or any social media that's at least in that niche area. So it's great that you mentioned the Bored Apes. We do have Bad Empire, and they'll be coming in with the physical digital. I hate the word, and that's where most haven't heard the word, right? And then we say digital, and you've been in these spaces, you don't use that fucking word anymore. It's just it's like rough, and it's like rubbing sandpaper on people, right? So you just don't fucking use it, and you just call one thing, and the metaversal is the other, and and draw that line of separation. But yeah, it's unbelievable of what is transpiring, the changes that are coming through, and what 2023 has to bring. It's going to be fucking insane, and I'm excited, and I'm yeah. When it comes through cannabis, it's great to be able to express and show and put interest in and build things for the future, for the plant, not have to fucking hide. Right? Like, it's unbelievable. So
Yeah,
that
that's one of the things that we've really that Hempfest has always pushed is breaking down stigmas. And like it's clear that we've, like, in Portugal, you probably have your work cut out for you a little bit more. But I mean, it's definitely getting better. But I think that especially cannabis and plant medicine in general. Like I'm looking at psilocybin in particular. Like the last, like we just put 2022 to bed, and I don't know, like 2022. I'm still looking back on that. Like, oh my god, I'm so fucking glad that thing is behind us. Like that was the worst year. I'm just like, oh my god, it just, and so but it was sort of like, right, 2020 was such a WTF year, and then 2021 was just like even a little bit worse, and in 2022 it's like, oh my god, we're all sort of like, yay, 2020, 23, but then like on the other hand, we're sort of like, god, it can't get any worse now, can it?
I don't. I like pulling up from here, man.
Yeah.
Or and hey, if not, I'm gonna at least tell myself that and believe it.
But the thing is, like, it's these last few years have left everyone just like monumentally triggered, and there's a lot of mental fatigue, if not
100%.
full blown illness. And it's like that's your hippocampus is getting triggered all the time, like because you're always like it's not like a weakness thing or anything like that. It's just a pure chemistry thing. Like no one can avoid like the sheer absurdity of the last few years. And we don't have a mental health treatment infrastructure to help essentially an entire planetary like mental institution, because like that's what it is. Like everyone out there right now is just like, really.
No, but what's crazy, Eric, is that I wish Hannah Queen Cara was still on here, right? Because it's amazing on the level, because that's 100% right there, right? And the proof in it is like the mental health spaces in Twitter, right? So these live spaces that you can get multiples every day, right? I'm involved with Kara in multiples, right?
Yeah.
I agree with School of Crops. Smoke more weed, you'll be fine.
Exactly, and that's what that's the moral of the story. Really, is like since there is no, it's like there aren't enough shrinks even in the U.S. to like help all of these people through. So you're going to have to kind of look into yourself. Like everyone's going to have to sort of figure out self-care.
Working with someone that does know how to guide you to
Yeah,
the proper self-care, right? And that's what Canna Queen Cara does. She's not a therapist, but she does have licensing and certification and peer-to-peer things, and more certification than most people outside of going into school and getting the licenses and all that, right? But even when it comes to Web3 now, have you heard of Crypto Mories? Okay, Mories. And their floor, I don't have enough to afford one right now, right? Because I think that last week they're like, oh, it was $150. Okay. But it is an NFT that comes with unlimited mental health.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then it's peer to peer, but then it's filled with licensed people and individuals certified like Cara. It's unbelievable, bro. And you can go through and get it's for you and your family. And then they have different ones, you own 5 of them to what you can really go do, right? But you're talking on $150, $200 an hour sometimes go talk to a shrink, right? And that you can go through on this and get an NFT and get involved into a community base that has many, 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 many of these therapists. And then that access pass is to that therapy. Shit like that is unbelievable. Right, like Cara, she's doing one, and it's because she's one person, and it's personal. And they're just calling them her sesh. They're called the Sesh Pass, right? And it's cannabis coaching and mental health, and a self checkup. And then she's got a payment system for it, and that's her newest release of her NFT project. A 30-minute, 1 hour, 6 month, 1 year, 2 year, and you go in and you lock into it, and she's yours one time. When there's area to go to when you need it, and then you have her personally an hour or whatever time session specifically per month, and it's just having that capability, because there's discords and all kinds of collection places, if you will, that have individuals that are live for that 24-hour self-help, and it's just guiding it. Everybody's working independently of each other. And that's what I love about the plant, because it opens up this cohesion that it's just recognized, because you're able to sit back, relax, and look at shit, right? But there's so many amazing things that are running independently that, man, when they merge, and that's what's great, it's on blockchain and through crypto, it will merge, right? It's just of a time of when. But, it's the capabilities and what this world is changing into is unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Right? And I should have asked why there was more people on here, but in the midst of this, there's 3 watching on here live now. Do any of you have a crypto wallet, an Ethereum crypto wallet? The 4 listeners here, or if you're listening on Twitter, because it doesn't show you here, you'll have to jump probably to YouTube. This is only going to be while we're live right now, so if you come and watch later, thank you for coming and watching. But I need to know, does anyone in here of these, here's 5, so someone from Twitter may have shifted, or somebody invited someone else. Does anyone have a crypto wallet, an Ethereum crypto wallet? That is my question for the moment. No is an acceptable answer. Thank you, Donna, for answering. If you don't know how to get one, I'll put some links in here when I throw the video on at the end. So I'll throw some links on the bottom of a video to go through and get one. School of Crop, nope. It's all right. If you're scared of getting one, I'll help you get one, and then we'll help you learn how to use it. Because trust me, you're gonna want to have that wallet. The every Monday, like now, is MetaMind Monday, so that's why we're talking about somewhat blockchain. Of course, something with Hempfest we can bring on every day and talk on some level of magnitude of an internal, because you've been going on for so long successfully. And I think Google said you're the largest. What was this accolade it said? Let me Google it again. Are you the largest cannabis event in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's gotten, because I mean, that was one of the cool things where Hempfest sort of planted itself in the zeitgeist is like that there was no place on the planet where you could sit down for a few days and just sit on the like beautiful ocean front, like all your friends there, a couple 100,000 people, you know, just critical mass, listening to good music, listening to thought leaders speaking about it, and just getting high, like just sitting there smoking on the bongs. You know, the cops would always be there, just like grooving on it. Like we had a really good relationship with local law enforcement the entire time we were down there. And in 30 years, we've never had a major like event, like major violence event or anything like that. You can never say anything like that with alcohol-based events.
Nope.
Like there was one year where the cops like literally gave out bags of Doritos. Um, to us. I mean, they had some sticker on there like "Make sure you use sensibly," blah blah blah, or something like that. But I mean,
Fuck yeah, giving out munchies though, that's fucking sweet.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we know how to get to them. Just give them some munchies.
exactly,
That's fucking
exactly.
awesome.
So, and I mean,
So how big of a space we need, Eric? How big of a space do we need? Do we need camping and
gosh, I mean, I don't know. It's like it. The sky's the limit, you know. I mean, it
really
really
just need the land, and there's plenty of land here in Missouri. I know we were talking on when it came through setting up event things and stages and all that. One of the guys, one of my boss's friends at the ABA is like the head dude for the stage setup and all that for Coachella. So we've got all that if needed.
yeah.
Right, like, so there's levels of, do we need just a place where people, I think both, because we'd come with a luxury level and then the camping level. And
see, I don't like it. The thing is, I really like to have that conversation at the local level because, the thing is, the pandemic's really kind of changed this whole narrative. And I mean, yeah, we have 30 years of experience in throwing these huge events. And frankly, on the other hand, we kind of feel like we don't know anything at this stage. Because, I mean, it's like that Inception, that Tom, or that DiCaprio movie, where just like all the roads are moving in a dream and everything. It's just impossible to navigate what's going on anymore. Like now everyone's going full speed ahead, and it looks like now there's talk of people wanting to put on masks again. And it's just like, oh my gosh, here we go, 2023.
Oh, I hope not. And that's a perspective I didn't even think of. Like, you're 100% on that. Like, to navigate that safely.
And then
and for the health of people, right? Not just for the fear of the fucking whatever and all the personal feelings on wearing masks and COVID, right? But like the actual legality aspect, when shit happens, you gotta think of those things. And on an event of your scale, that's
well, that's what really hit us in 2019 is that we were full steam ahead on getting back into the park, and then this pandemic hit us, and like we were financially exposed. Like we had all of the like we'd already invested in an event that we could never appreciate any revenue from. So it left us in a little bit of a precarious position. It took 1 year to leave us like, so it's but you live and learn too, and that's the you don't know when. Like I said, life's gotten pretty weird these last few years, so you just don't know when a curveball like that's going to be thrown at you. So what I'm saying is that when you're planning these events, like it's really easy to want to jump into something like, oh, let's just take the whole Lake of the Ozarks or something like that, But like, you gotta be a little bit mindful of like what it's not a build it and they will come sort of thing anymore. Like these, it used to, like, I think that we're sort of still in this cool period of time right now where people are still kind of like really happy to get out. So if you have a pretty dope event, like people might come out in droves. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that, like, a mild winter, and I don't know, like, I'm here in Portugal, and it was like freaking 70 degrees today. It was just crazy.
I'm here in Missouri.
January.
It was 60 plus. I had to turn my air conditioner on. It was 81, 82 degrees in here with no heaters, and like I had to turn my fucking air on because the windows are closed because it's winter.
Exactly.
The plants are fucking hot. They're fucking 82 degrees, and the lights are off, right? I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? I gotta turn the fucking air on in January because then I go out. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. It's hot as fuck outside.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now, School of Crop here. I'm horrible at these comments. He said there's a Show Me Hempfest in Missouri, and then that there is a Facebook page. So I'm definitely, if you got a link to that, Crop, you can share it here, shoot it to me in Messenger, whichever. But I was not aware of it. I'm too busy doing other things. Were you aware of the Show Me?
Oh my gosh, no! Oh my! I feel so bad that Sherry. Yeah, we do have one in Missouri. We got to get in touch with her.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. That she is ours. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay. Did that? See, I don't handle the domestic stuff.
Oh, it's all right. No, it's just
yeah. No,
there we go. Well, see, look, you got some foundation built already. Shit, that's a good thing. So it's 68 here in Missouri today, and then I'm not the only one. Doug Zawicki had his AC on as well. And Doug, your fucking plant. This guy Eric, he took one seed, and it looks female to me the way it's growing. Zawicki, is it shooting any hairs yet? Did it shoot any pre-flowers before we kicked the lights? See, Eric, we got the Molcana Cup going. We just kicked the lights on the first. And here, I can actually show mine here real quick. I put a little video on there, but then I got the Mondaze. Oh, smoky as fucking here. Ugh. So, this one, they got stunted because the power went out, so the water they were germinating in got to like 51 degrees.
Oh, okay.
So they started going. It took them forever, but this one and that one, it's like that one's twice the size.
Oh no.
I pulled my camera out, but I fixed it. All right. So, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I pulled my camera out of the fucking computer. But yeah, so this one's short as shit, right?
Cool.
Just like I said, half the size. Light was 24, 27 inches away, right? And this thing, I'm hoping it's a male, because I love the short, stocky little males. But then over there's my Mondaze.
Oh, wow.
I got a video of that on Molcana Cup's Facebook. I can't move it too much closer, or I'll rip it out of the computer. But and then look at this big dumb leaf. This is another jawbreaker breast. I dropped it a week after because I didn't know if these were going to make it at all. And so this one actually caught up. But look at that big dumb leaves.
Jeez.
Like, here, I'll try to do it. There, I'll do a reference. Look at that shit.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty good for maybe 18 inches tall. So here in Missouri, man, you get 6 plants in each phase. So that one would just now be a veg plant. So 14 inches is the draw mark for a seedling. And I grow short, wide. This one, it might be 14 inches, but Yeah, I'm interested in getting some of them fun strains you have out there by you.
Yeah, they're doing some weird, like they just mix whatever seeds they get. Like a lot of these home growers, like right now I've got amnesia poison.
Ooh, okay.
And so I that's just what they told. Like I think it's I
Some
assume
Amnesia
it's
Haze mixed with some
a
Durban Poison.
poison.
Fuck yeah, dude. Dude,
So
that one right there give motherfucker anxiety if they get anxiety. I I love those double fucking. You're talking something nice. Yes, please. That sounds wonderful.
yeah, it's a it's a bunker buster for sure. I mean, it's that the I broke in a new bong the first time I tried it, and like it put me down. Like my tolerance is way lower than it was in the States though too. But it's because I'm sort of like a you know smoke and go to the gym sort of guy, and this was just like couch lock. Forget about it.
Now, how is seed sales there in Portugal? In Spain?
Yeah, you can't. It's like it's all under the table. No legal trade in seeds. I think hemp seeds you'd be okay
Gotcha.
because hemp's legal. But that's one of the weird things about this is like the market's so reactive. Like there's so many farmers out there that are like, oh, I'm going to grow uh, hemp for flour, and it's like what that market is completely saturated at this point. Like there's
Exactly.
no differentiation you can have in growing hemp flower. Like if you want to grow hemp, grow it for fiber, grow it for seed.
Grow it for
I think
oil. Grow it grow it for an industrial purpose at least. And then when it comes through, because of that, like since it is such a beast at growing, it does carbon sequestration through soil and air. That's what a lot of people don't even realize, that 30% of its CO2 sequestration is through the soil, because the soil does it, because it heals the soil, right? So
yeah,
it's just it's funny, and how fast it can grow. The right areas you can grow all year round, right? If not have a short time span plant, and if you can't go all year and you got 2 month out, and now you can do two different yields per year, is the countries, and then because you're on this international level, have you heard any talks of carbon offset and this whole net zero and what they're wanting to do in, because the steps of what they do for carbon offset for, say, big companies, uh, same thing can be achieved by planting hemp on a mass scale, and then in turn enough monoterpenes to stop UVB radiation, right? But it's not it's not looked at. And I'm just, when it comes through I, from what you're talking, they might be, I could hear of a situation that they're wanting to find things for it, right? I think there's that collective of people that the stigma exists, but then there's, through the research and through the money that backs the research, that people are wanting to also find those capabilities and leverage it for the purpose of what it can be, regardless if it's to make money or not, right?
exactly. And I think that that's a big difference in the mentality in Europe that you have versus what we see in North America a lot is that the sustainability initiatives here, they seem to be genuinely like they genuine. Like you see like just in the stores how like this renewable materials and recyclable materials, it's just like it's all a lot more facilitated here, whereas a lot, especially in the States, even in Washington, I just felt like a lot of that was just kind of like window dressing, like sort of some sort of virtue signaling, like we were trying to say, oh look, we're being super sustainable in our lifestyles, when in reality like it was more for the veneer than the actual authenticity of it. Whereas, in Europe, it seems like these initiatives really are, they really do practice what they preach. Like you just see it more consistently applied. And so, like when you present something about how, hempcrete does their carbon sequestering structures, like even after as that substance cures,
Right.
it continues to sequester
Continue.
carbon.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like
Wow.
air filtration buildings. So like you talk to a North American legislator about that. They're like, oh well, how does that hit my concrete constituents? You talk to someone in Europe about that. They're like, this is genuinely, if that's legitimate, like let's research it a little bit. We need to look into something like that. So I think that there's a lot more opportunity to find sympathetic ears in legislature
That's
when
good to
it
know.
comes to the sustainability aspect. And like I was never really finished the thought, but we don't, since they treat it differently here, they don't have all of these prisoners, people in prison for pot. So like our big sort of North American mission isn't as relevant here. Uh, so what we're looking at more here is kind of a mission of medical cannabis has been extremely helpful for human beings. Now we'd like to promote medical cannabis for Mother Earth, and really emphasizing the sustainability aspects of it. The hempcrete, the hemp graphene batteries.
Yeah.
You can really get into it with that, but just
Well, that's where
more
Crete specifically, because a lot of the crypto level in this metaverse, there are lots of servers running. There's lots of energy consumption, right? So that's opportunity to offset the energy consumption. But when you go into a place and you set up something on a level of a massive amount of servers to do mining on this altcoin of something that's for all these others, right? And you make it out of hempcrete. Now, like you said, a lot of don't realize it continues to sequence. So now you have this level of what you built, and it's offsetting an energy consumption through another give back to the planet, that then you can now go through and put solar in and other alternative energies to continue to do more on it and still advance in the technological terms to where the servers and everything that's going on that level is not consuming and hurting the planet, but it actually is healing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's reassuring to hear, because in the States, it's outside of the Web3, and Paul J. von Hartman, he's the only person that I've ever heard talk outside of Web3 for the guy's therapeutic level and the activism level that he does, right? It's advocacy is great, but it's that activism that's needed to make the changes. And it's just it's reassuring to know that at least there, because like you said, there's not all kinds of people in jail for cannabis, but it still is not necessarily legal in these same places where there's not all kinds of people, right? That's my understanding of it. There's just not, cannabis isn't what they jail people for. It doesn't have to be legal or not. It's just not something that the average person, like in the States, is penalized for and then put in jail or prison.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like a small amount, like a personal amount, let's say under 20 grams, the cops aren't going to really say
Well, yeah, I
anything
think
about
in Missouri here, with what they just changed, so 3-ounce possession on person and some other things, I don't know, but regardless, it's 20,000 arrests here in Missouri that no longer are arrestable offenses. So it's things like that are just phenomenal, regardless how long ago it should have been that way.
Is there an automatic expungement on that too?
Yes, there is. And I mean, it's, how it goes. And then people are bitching like, well, they're not out already. And it's like, paperwork takes time. And the thing that Missouri's got it, dude, automatic expungement, 3 pounds or less, no children, no DUI, DWI, and no violence, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the automatic. Anyone with a cannabis offense can apply for expungement. right? So you got people that are like, well, it's 3 pounds, it should be 50. I agree, as long as the other things were in the mix of it and those weren't involved. Children, violence, even though at 50 pounds, the average person has a gun to protect it, right? So there's levels of things that certain stuff doesn't really ever exist outside of the other element. But if it did, by all means, right? You have to file a petition and do so, and some complain about it. And we should be grateful, which is bullshit, but we should be grateful that it exists, that we can do that, right? Because it's not what it used to be. It doesn't matter what it should be. It matters what it is, and now it's changing. And with those changes, it's amazing what the plant can do for people, and it's making that. I look at like the global impact aspect. Like in the Philippines, they're killing people for fucking hemp. It's crazy on a level where, because I'm engaged there with the things I do, it doesn't make any sense, and we got to change that. That's past stigmatism. Like that's just fucking. It's detrimental to mankind to go kill somebody over cannabis. The government and we're talking like seeds, Eric. It's nuts. Have a fucking
look at Thailand. I mean, Thailand's like they were completely like gonna execute you for having
the Philippines. Exactly, they were just like the Philippines. They'll execute you for him. But now is it rec?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, like it is, and it went medical and rec. Is that right?
It went medical for like 17 and a half minutes or something like that. Like, oh, this is great. Like, yeah, it was. And then they just immediately, so it was so fast, the transition from medical to rec, that like no one even had time to catch up. It's like, we woke up one day and it's like, wait a minute, you don't get like in life for prison for cannabis in Thailand anymore? That's crazy. And they're like, yeah, how is it? What? And then what? It's now it's recreational. And they're opening up cookies there already, and I'm just
right, like no, and that's the thing. I was on like some Twitter Spaces with a person that was in Thailand. So having an insight, that's where social media is great, but having an insight to the change, it was mind blowing.
And apparently, there's just some phenomenal, fiery, fragrant goodness coming out of there too.
That's exactly what she was saying. It's unbelievable. The climate or the genetics that have been there hidden forever and kept, right? And not bastardized and shit. I don't know, but no, the way she was talking about, that's all. I'm a breeder, right? That's what I was going at. I want some seeds. Let's get some seeds going. And then it's, just sending packages everywhere. But now with Hero Packs, I get to have a digital tracking purpose of it and cover my own ass. And I think we're already in 9 countries. So,
but that's the grand the brave new world that I think we're coming up to, is just having all of like as all of this is legalized across the world, you're going to have these phenomenal like regional, like and when it comes to wine, there are only so many places where you can grow really good wine, and then it takes a long time to perfect your vineyards, and then those vineyards eventually die. Whereas like weed, it kind of grows a lot more places, and each region has sort of like, you've got the terroir, yeah, but then there's the actual plant itself has modified itself to be optimized for those conditions.
100%.
So there are all these different like just really unique expressions of the plant that you're just going to be getting all over the world, and these craft growers are just going to be really they'll have the local know-how to bring out those expressions of the local flavor, and to be able to trade in that internationally. I mean, just being here in Portugal after, I grew up in California. Went through a very painful time in Arizona, like then spent a bunch of time in Washington. Oh my God. Like, I'm still partial to California, like Emerald Triangle stuff. Like I don't know if there's just like where you started out sort of favoritism, but
I've had the pleasure to be out there once, and I could have stayed forever. Like,
yeah,
it was unbelievable.
It's really, really amazing cannabis. But then, like some of the stuff that I'm seeing coming out of Europe, like, there's still a lot of really mediocre stuff to be had, which is unfortunate. But if you can get past that layer, there's some phenomenal stuff getting grown over here right now, and some really good climates to do it in. So, it does feel a little bit like a time machine. Like some of the stuff that I've seen, that the nutrients are probably a little bit, retro by our, like maybe a little bit yesterday's technology. Some of the stuff hasn't been dried maybe quite as well as, we like our dry cures. We've got them really well dialed in North America. It doesn't seem to be as big a priority here. But yeah, like a lot of the terpene profiles that I'm pulling out of these things, like they're stinky flowers. So they're doing pretty well. I'm not gonna come over here and like start critiquing their growing methodologies. I have seen some room for improvement, but you see that in North America as well.
100%.
For the most part, they've got.
Doug's Wiki says, "Is there anywhere in the world that has that old school skunk, or is your best skunk stuff? Is there in Europe or Cali, right? Which there's some skunk number one when it's the true shit, Doug. If you haven't tried the skunky flow cakes that I created, it's a pretty nice skunk. This Cooter Hooch through Kindway Farms. So you've seen them. It's already got some nice skunk, and it was a super skunk cross with Runts Muffin. But I'm only going to keep you for a couple more minutes, Eric, because we're almost 4:20, and then I'm going to let you go because I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning there.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll definitely we'll do this because it's 2 minutes and counting. And I mean, I do appreciate. I look like shit. The way we talk, we can do it for hours and hours and hours. But I do want you to be able to get your sleep. Will you be on the first 420 on Wednesday?
Yeah, sure.
I will definitely see you there. You guys listening, there is less up. It's 1 minute and counting now. Go here and click that. I'm getting better at this, Eric. See, I make all this fucking clickety shit, and it's been fun learning all these new platforms. Because that's what's great about like with the NFT expansion is I've placed myself to be able to learn the coding and the operation of the smart contract, and it's the true education that should come along with it. So, and that's
that new AI that writes
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT is writing smart contracts too.
Yeah, oh, dude, you don't even. We'll talk on some Chat GPT strategies, bro. This shit, and then like I'm doing one thing, Kara's doing disclaimers, fucking we're writing some other shit, right? And then I talked to fucking my boss at the ABA. He's former fucking death row producer and Navy. He was working with the internet before people knew anything about the fucking internet. Type brilliant, right? And then immersed into that level. So like he wrote a book. It's called Getting Started with AI. And then when I started talking with him about Chat fucking GPT, he said, "Fuck." Then he goes, "That motherfucker." So he's been using it. Here you go, international man, because he has contracts. So he went through all of his contracts, okay, and then had the AI reword them to where he has one contract that has the verbiage for all 50 fucking states. shit like that, dude.
Wow.
But here's a real fun one. You go in and you say, I gave it a business plan to an app concept I made. Okay. It was too big. So I removed the financials and the exit strategy and a couple things that don't need to be in it, right? Hit click. Fucking one paragraph of exactly what it is. I'm going, motherfucker. Now here's the key.
It's 420.
Ready? Create up 420 brand banners and oh shit, I scrolled down. There it is. Boom. I gotta light my joint again. If Faceless is watching on, no, he's busy. Well, he laughed. He makes a bet with himself how many times I light my joint. They go out often, especially when I'm talking. What the hell were we just talking on? What was I saying?
OpenAI.
Oh yeah, I removed the fucking bullshit money that's needed, right, to make it. It does a fucking one paragraph paraphrase. Write a sample HTML website. 1 minute, done. Now I haven't learned where to put that yet, but here, my boss told me, he's like, and I couldn't write the shit down fast enough, and I need to just record every fucking phone call, right? Because he's just plugged into, he's been immersed into it. It's like breathing, right? So then when I stumble upon something, he's like, were you not fucking listening to me 3 months ago? I told you all about this and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, there were 65 other things you told me about, right? And it's grasping all that's there. But then, then I wrote basic sample. Now, what does it fucking say? I have no clue. I'm understanding and reading the language backwards because I requested for it to give me a sample code for an app of that business plan in JavaScript and Python and JSON. And it wrote all the fucking code for me, bro.
Wow.
I'm like, holy. And then he said, then you go from this. So you get the website, you get the fucking code, and then you go have it write a script for the first fucking opening scenes and some shit for a script for the story about it. And you've got everything you need. So now you look at your brains going, holy fuck. And dude, it'll do it. It'll do it on a level that, like, Kara was making disclaimers on all of this mental health and all. That's how, dude, these things are perfect. We're like, oh, you missed a disclaimer about all results may vary. Please write me a disclaimer. And so she's in the same file. That's all this medical stuff, right? That of her being a peer-to-peer mental health sesh specialist, right? It's not a anything of a therapy level, but she didn't have a disclaimer that all results may vary, right? So she went to that same thread line of that AI communication and said, write me a disclaimer for not all results may vary. And it gave like a good 2-3 sentence, that's a damn near a paragraph of how she is. Dude. And then there was something else that was missing. And then it types faster you can read it. That's how fast of a response.
That's interesting.
It's crazy, Eric. So of things like that, of that monotonous, bro, I had to turn my marketing qualifications and things that I've done. So being a director of marketing, being a CEO, being a community manager, being a content creator, being a social media, this, blah, blah, right? And I had to take all that generic of what those things responsibilities are in the way I wrote it, right? And I had to conform it to a military procurement thing that I'm working with another individual I'm going to help on the fulfillment of their procurement of the government funding for this Web3 transition and hemp, which is amazing. So I'm interested to hear more from her about what that actually is. But anywho, 2 weeks I was working on it and it was garbage. I sat down with ChatGPT and in 20 minutes had a 2.5-page breakdown. That's on the caliber of a military perspective. And all I did was list responsibilities of position. 10 bullet points of what that position does, and I didn't have to change anything. It was perfect.
Wow.
Done. But you're like, dude, it was, so yes, ChatGPT, guys, if you're listening, it's AI. We encourage you to go play with it. And it does recognize the power of cannabis and what it does to help on medicinal levels, to help on industrial levels, to help on saving the planet. And then because it's pulling from the internet, right, there's still a level of stigmatism from the AI, even though it recognizes things that most humans, even cannabis consumers, don't know the plant can do, right? They just haven't been educated enough, like, because they've had to stay away from it in the fear aspect, right? Most people don't know they know what a terpene is, but you say monoterpene and they think it's something else. It's the same thing. It's just where it's at, right? But it is, and that's what we can save the planet with is great smells. Shit, plant it everywhere. But happy 420 to you, Eric. I'm gonna play a video on my way out. Do you got anything else you want to say? Anything I got Hempfest going down here.org. You need to follow you anywhere else on some social handles?
No, I mean, we got it out there, but we're looking forward to being back in the park this year, and just hoping that we can keep the momentum up enough that we can coast back into greatness, like just spread the word worldwide.
Absolutely. No, that's what it's all about.
Working with you in Missouri too.
No, yeah, there was a couple more. He said it was. Let me go here. He sent on in St. Clair. I think it's next St. Louis, 2.5 miles.
Yeah, I'll reach out. I'll reach out to her. I haven't, because I don't know if we've heard from them in a couple of years, so I want to see what's up with that.
Gotcha. There, I thought I seen another post that he put on there about something was supposed to happen last year and didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like no, it was in this one here. It looks like nothing happened last year, so I'm sure it was COVID or legislation or who knows. It's happening now, but well, Eric, thank you for joining us. Making the time so late at night. You have a great one. I'll talk with you here on Wednesday in the first 420. If you guys listen, if you don't have Twitter, lots of things do go on in Twitter. If you're interested in this Web3 and metaverse and NFT and all these fun, crazy things that are upon us, Twitter is where you can get educated just by listening. So, easy way to learn and engage if you want. But Eric, yeah, you have a great night. Thank you.
All right, take care, brother. Catch you on the flip side.
And stay blessed, man.
Take care.
I'll get you some honeycomb hydro genetics out. He left, but that's all right. I need to get the whole lineup out in Portugal. We're already in Hungary. Got a package going out to Scotland. Boy, Alexander's not here. Well, that's all right. Oh, then I got some hero packs going out to the UK and the Canadians, and then crop. Yeah, I'll be in touch with you. Cheese strains, huh? I got a guy, man. I'm that guy that's got a guy. We got a guy. He's got some badass shit. Well, multiples of them. They all fucking hide. They're old school fucking, the old school, you know? And breeders that are still terrified because what they've been through already for growing the best medicine in the world. What is that? Oh, it's an ash. I thought it was a bug. It's just an ash. Doug Zawicki, if that is not a girl, I want that pollen. All right. I mean, I know you signed up for the advanced division, if I recall correctly. Could pull up the spreadsheet. But yeah, your plant is looking bad fucking ass, dude. With what's going on, and because you're here, involved and engaged, you get to know before others. Grow female wise, regardless, from your level of growing, you may have some other strains. So I'm coordinating to where you will be able to have free entry of what you grow and of something else you've grown into the homegrown division of Mocana Cups judging, right? So luckily for the individuals that are here and engaged and believed and supported, became Canna contenders, you're going to get some insight on a level that, yeah, it's going to blow your fucking mind. So with that and everything being set the way it is, and you've seen Eric here at Hempfest, they've got one up there, St. Louis area again, guys. So we're working on this. I'm down here outside Springfield, and yeah, we need some action down here in the southwest corner. there's the businesses, the dispensaries, they all need this action, right? Especially with legislation changing, and then having the plant guide the path into meeting Dan Viets and Missouri Normal and being in the area where they need this establishment. Yeah, I happily volunteered to help build that. And it's not been easy. People love cannabis, but it's not surprising. I was getting my life threatened because I supported Amendment 3 when I went through and was promoting it and coordinating Dan to come down here to speak and things that you guys may not have known about. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Fellow cannabis users fucking threatening a stranger's life because they support something that's good for the medicine for the everyday consumer and those that truly need it, and great business opportunities as well. But the reality, like most things, it stopped their gray area where they were making money. Ain't it gray anymore? It's now illegal. So because of the amazing regulation that we have, it's not the way it should be, but it's far better than many states. And with progression changing and the people behind it, and individual like Indiana, I couldn't believe when I read about this. Their fucking normal letter. They got a form thing you go fill out, and it writes it all for you and shit. Automation's amazing. And this is a state that is fighting with all these other fucking little other states who could be the last state to have cannabis. It's asinine. Oh, sweet, man. Well, then that'll work out great because you don't have to be in this specific area. See, I've got a couple other individuals in normal in different states, though. That one of the states has not shifted, and I think she actually is opening a normal chapter there. But we do have the capabilities to leverage any normal fucking what's the technical term? I'm fucking stone. Subscribe. It's not a subscriber, but Patreon, I guess, because you pay it's $35 or some shit to be they're a recognized member, a member of Normal, right? So it's $35 a year or something for being a member of Normal. That's how they go and do the things they do. And then damn, it's storming like a motherfucker out here. Zwicky and Crop, how's your fucking weather there? It's fucking storming here. But any member can be on the board. So something of like the secretary of the needed board members could actually be a remote individual because of the AI and recording fucking technology that will be incorporating in the fucking in the meetings. So the people that I've aligned with and what we're building on this Mocana Cup being a Web3 platform, right, for onboarding into Web3. That's the concept. So here in dues, it's paying the dues, exactly. But here in I'm testing it now and it works. But of how many people here do any of you have a wallet yet? You got a crypto wallet? I'm not expecting you to download it already yet. You could have, but there's certain ways to do things. I'm happy to walk it with you. But if a person doesn't typically have a wallet to go through and click on a button to go in through to a metaverse, might be a little intimidating, right? We're going to safely take you into that through broadcasting it on here. So just like I can share the screen, we didn't get our 25, but just like I could share the screen of this Chrome tab giveaway tool, right? I don't think we're not going to hit our numbers, and that's all right. I didn't have it up here running. I'm not huge on the broadcasting and giveaways. I like organic shit. I don't think people should be here just for the giveaway. If that's why you're here, it's great for the numbers, but for the impressions and to make a difference later because they'll use what they gained. Yeah, quality over quantity every time. But just like I could share the screen here, I can share the screen into the metaverse. It takes multiple computers. I'm trying to navigate it through a phone and a computer, just because then it would allow content creators to do pretty amazing shit, right? And then that will be expanded and grown into that level of you're going to be able to take part in Mocanica, right, and view it. Oh yeah, no, we can definitely do this. Let me go through and stop sharing here to get that out. Oh yeah, no, you can. And then there's one of the venues that I'm talking and reached out to, but they haven't responded because they're busy. Is the fucking one up on the river, right outside Kansas City, right? It's in the wrong area, and I don't care if they respond. It'd be great if they do for the huge things that they've got going there, but there needs to be things down here in Southwest Missouri, and just it may be in the Lake of the Ozarks, right? So that may be where that's where the possibility of the event. There's a couple places reached out also that have responded here in Springfield and then two in Branson. So the possibilities and it can align with a lot of different things, but it needs to be in a place where we can take advantage of it not happening and provide a avenue, an outlet for it to happen again and again and again. So we're not looking at setting up a one-time. It's to set up perpetual yielding, guys. But yes, with the Cannabis Lounge, you can do that Cannabis Lounge. It was at Mocana Fest, I believe it was this year, and you could consume out in the medical consumption area. And then there was alcohol, and it was because it was at the Regalia Convention Center, and that was in the pool area. And September will still be warm enough, not fucking hot as hell, that a pool will be great. So Regalia is a possibility of where the event may happen. And then it is nice on a level that it's got everything that's needed, but also has a level of it's not 250,000 people. Because I never thought on the epidemic thing, and you'd never want any fucking bullshit, some of that to come down. It just throws, and let's make it more exclusive. But anywho, all right. Well, I'm gonna throw this video on, guys. I got ashes flying, and I got to make sure they're not like those black little floaty thingies that you get in your fucking eyes, like, and you follow them and it moves and shit. I read about them. There actually are ashes falling off of my joint. So, all right, what video are we gonna do on the way out, guys? Thank you for joining. I can get another banner going. If you didn't know, Hero Packs is the discount code, guys. There will be more. I'll get those filled in. So I need to do that. I'll get you the other discount where that is viable too, so it can be utilized. And let's see, where else we going? No, we'll probably go here. I didn't change that. It is Monday, so I changed that to Wednesday. We'll be live, guys, Wednesday, Waxy Wednesday. And then Friday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Friday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Friday for like the next, it might be for the rest of the year, guys. God, hey, if they want to pay, I'll do it. You're the board of trustees for the Eagle Club. Perfect. Fucking A right. That lines up with some other things I'm engaged in, and damn straight. Well, I think we'll be able to leverage of having that type of club within it being the normal club. So I'll get the breakdowns and rules and regulations of what can and cannot be and this, that, or the other, but we can make a very big impact with that club level of cannabis with no alcohol. So we're 8.5 years without alcohol. I think it's the devil, and anybody using it isn't. You know, anybody using any drug in an excess of a level isn't that person. It's the substance. So, being a former addict myself and being saved now with this plant, I got a little bit of understanding with it. So, all right, what fucking video do we want to play with the Jawbreaker? Can't wait for this Jawbreaker breath. I haven't made a video about the Jawbreaker breath. I didn't collect enough content, and I have one video. It was pretty. I'll give it that. I've got some smoke of it. It's seedy because I grow for seed, and it's delicious. So, and then School of Crop. Yeah, you can pick my brain on computer stuff, man. I'm telling you, get Twitter. Open up your Twitter account. You can play with your Twitter twat. You'll have a good time, I guarantee it. Flicking the little Twitter, doing emojis and shit. Don't know what you're missing. There's some funny fucking people in there. It's all audio, but you don't have to talk if you don't want to. You can. And you just request to talk, but it's an all audio app. Well, part of Twitter. I'm talking about Twitter Spaces, but you got to have a Twitter account to use Twitter Spaces. But anyhow, all right, I still don't know what fucking video. I'm gonna find one though. Look through the video files. What do we got here? Shit. I'm smoking this Jack here. It's so fucking. I'm ripped. There's some transplanting. Oh, that's blowing potent. Well, you can't play with your Twitter if you don't have a Twitter. Just saying, man. What's this voice narrations? Man, I'm playing the files I didn't know I had. We got blowing potent by Chills. What else we got? Oh yeah, we've got the fucking Jawbreaker one. What's this one? I like that song too. We'll go with that one because I love some Jawbreaker. We got a bunch of people growing the Jawbreaker. I don't know if anybody's. At least they didn't ban it for Mocana Cup. The Dan McCann and the purple pheno. Well, it's not really purple. It just the color changer. Because one of the phenos did not color change. She stayed green. Very good smoke. But yeah, the color changer, it died. So did this Jawbreaker clone that I had because when the power went out, shit got cold. Shit gets cold, shit happens. But we move through it, we push on. Have to drop more seeds and hopefully leverage that same timing of getting the damn fucking 250 plant flowering. There is no amount and interpretation of what the craft grow license is for veg. So in turn, instead of giving clones, you can actually sell small fucking 14, nice little plants when it comes through in a 1 gallon fucking pot that's ready to get transplanted and rock and roll. Fuck a clone. Talking something fucking ready to transplant, grow for 2 weeks, and then flower, right? So get them roots kicking and going in the new soil. But yeah, it's going to be open-ended possibilities of what the laws changing in the way they have here in Missouri can really be leveraged into. If you did not catch the video when Dan Beats was on here, I was asking him some interesting questions. If you've got questions, we're going to be bringing it back on of levels of, is this legal or can we do this, that, or the other? Oh, yeah, Zwicky, I'm surprised fuck Powerade went out here. It's storming like a motherfucker. But, all right, School of Crops is Jawbreaker. Perfect. I'm gonna go Jawbreaker, hit that, and then that should be it. We'll pause it when it jumps on. All right, remove. You guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening as always. Hopefully you learned a little bit. We will find out more on the Canifest that's going on here. But, you know, like when you wrote it's in St. Louis, it's just another thing that's up there. And that's all right. Because we're creating things to where it's not going to matter where you live. You'll be able to at least engage and find out what the fuck's going on. So I went and then crop. I'm going to find some cheese strains. I don't know if I don't think I've got anything personal that I mess with. I'll have to look through some of my other seeds, but yeah, there's the Kindway Farms. They've got the cream cheese. It's CBD. I don't know what exactly that is, but they may have some cheese stuff. I think they do have some cheese stuff. Find out what Kindway Farms got, or go to kindwayfarms.com genetics and go through the list. If it says sold out, don't worry about that. Got access to whatever the fuck's on the website. So if you want it, let me know and I'll get it for you, buddy. And then I'll reach out to my other guy. He's got a bunch of original cheese, so a bunch of cheese crosses. I don't know, fucking 18,000 different types of seeds, but that includes vegetable seeds. And this dude's got some badass shit. You can sell clones, bro. It's not, oh man, we'll talk. Like, there's levels of things that it's interpretation, but it's also being implemented elsewhere. So, but yes, clone sale is legal through very minimum hoops. And with the things that I'm going at on the regenerative finance side, companies within the crypto world, all right, it may not make sense. That's all right. They're all about Earth, planet healing solutions. And yeah, it's having the capacity of the people to maintain the leverage and the amount of acreage needed to do the things to go get, procurement of double-digit billion-dollar grants and shit. So, world's changing, man. Got to stay ahead of it. Build shit that plays and maneuvers within what is being systematically created, but make it to where it's for the people, by the people, community basis, and that's where blockchain. It's just it's unbelievable when people really get to understanding it, and it's because they'll be immersed in it, and it'll be surrounding them on levels and benefits that you never even thought possible could come from playing a game on your damn phone. Okay, but it's here. Get to grow cannabis, teach others how to do it, and then yes, like that, selling clones. We'll talk. Don't worry. And then now we're talking on the club level, and oh man, there's some real fun things we can do. Leverage what's going on, and make it benefit for all of us, right? And not just and when it's us, it's not us talking and listening. It's the legacy and the generation creating a planet of where generational whatever, be it wealth or lack thereof, has a place to exist. So cannabis is that solution, and we are the implementers of sowing those seeds. I thank you guys for being here and helping do just that. So much love. Stay safe in the storm. And here is the Jawbreaker one. See you guys on Wednesday. Hey there, Kamp fam. Thanks for joining another episode of MK Potcast. I'm your host, Michael Kamp. And today we are going to be showcasing Jawbreaker. So Jawbreaker is one of the strains that can be grown in Mocana Cup. If you haven't heard about Mocana Cup, it is a digital growing competition. Registration to become a Canna contender in Mocana Cup closes in 2 weeks.
Has been closed.
Also, you can find out all kinds of information about it at www.mocanacup.com. And this video is going to, like I said, showcase Jawbreaker, which is one of Honeycomb Hydro LLC's featured genetics, and its lineage is Fruity Pebble OG. So the music you're going to be listening to is from my man Chills. He's an artist from St. Louis. The song we're going to be listening to is called No Regrets. And you can find him on most of your music platforms and Instagram, all that good stuff. Chills HQ, that's CHILLZ HQ. And you can go listen to some of his other music. I wanted to give a shout out to our great sponsors. None of this would be possible without them. We've got Fishhead Farms. A lot of you know them as Fish Shit. MJ Arsenal, Grove Bags, Newt Tools, A of Africa, Hero Packs, Canny Camp, Suede Soul, Abigail TV, Abigail University, the ABA in general, Kindway Farms, Kindway Consulting. I know you're going to enjoy the music and the footage, so let's get down to it and see what Jawbreaker is all about.
The biggest poison in us is regret.
I blow on the best, I roll on the best. When you roll with us, you roll with the best. We got them like Lord, they calling us blessed. Came up from a slave, I put them chains on my neck. We started the wave, we showed you the way. We opened the gates, we gave you the place. Now on to the next, let's run up the check. If you gonna do it, gotta do it to death. Got my name in the press, now niggas is pressed. I put in the work, oh how they forget. My life was a mess, deserving the flex. Got one life to live, can't live with regrets.
Are you doing the things that are putting you in a position to succeed? Not just in a business world, but in life. Stop complaining. Nobody's listening. They may pretend they're listening.
Fuck playing it safe, I live life to the fullest. Gon' go out a legend, got the pictures to prove it. Used to trap out the beauty, put that back in the music. Flipped it in royalty checks, now we gotta move it. Check my year to date, how much did I make? Take half of the growth, put that in the bank. 3 shows in a month, what was the take? I book them myself, the fuck should I wait? Bitch, get the fuck out my face. Not hearing what you trying to say. Can't kick it, you ain't trying to pay. Not coming, I can't smoke a J. The house used to smell like a barn. Back then we was smoking on hay. Now that we set off alarms, so loud I might catch me a case. Chills.
You're more than welcome to tell me about how bad it is or why you can't, because, or what, but it's just not true.